You guys ready for Candance Owens? It's just a tweet. It's just a tweet, but I think this is very important to understand this concept. So, from Dave Rubin, who, if you did not know, is a gay conservative grifter type of dude. He's really, I don't know, he's pretty lame. He's pretty pathetic. As Douglas K. Murray often points out, the T should be separated in these discussions. This has nothing to do with the L's, the G's, or even the B's. Most of those letters just want to be left alone. So this is referring to the LGBT community. T refers to trans in this, and L, lesbian, B, bisexual. And then Candance Owens is like interesting. I've always thought the LGB should demand a breakup from the T. Gender dysphoria has nothing to do with sexual preference. Gay, lesbian, and bisexual individuals have never infringed upon the rights of women. All right. So, there's a little bit of stuff to unpack here, so let's explain it. Starting with the quote tweet. So what Dave Rubin and I guess Douglas K. Murray is confused about is if the LGBT community is supposed to be about sexuality, like why is the T included? Trans people, that's gender. That's a gender thing. That's an identity thing. It's not sexuality. It's not who you're attracted to. It's how you personally identify. Gender and sexuality are different. You are correct in that statement. However, the reason why they are included is because when you are trans, your sexuality tends to change, and it also impacts the sexuality of others. So, let me give you an example. Me, for instance, I used to be a boy, and when I was a boy, I liked girls more than boys, okay? Like, I had a preference for women, and once I became a girl, it basically went from me being straight to me being a lesbian for a little bit, and so that's how you're kind of secondhandly included. Now, my sexuality changed. I went in more of like a bi-pan direction to where I like both, and non-binary people. I'm kind of attracted to everybody. So my sexuality changed, but initially I went from being a straight guy to a lesbian girl. Like that was the initial jump. And so by changing your gender, you also change sexuality. And it also changes the sexuality of people who are attracted to you potentially. So if they're originally attracted to you as a boy and they are a girl, they would at first be straight. And then once you transition to being a girl and a person still is attracted to you, they would then be a lesbian. So it is very much connected to sexuality in this sense. And trans people are also a marginalized community. They're marginalized based off of an arbitrary category, their gender, not unlike, lesbians, gays, and bisexuals. So that's that discussion. And Dave Rubin, as a gay person, he has some authority to talk about this, but he's also really fucking stupid. Because he can't understand this basic ass concept, which is, it's pretty, I don't know, it's disappointing. I expect more. But what really pisses me off is Candance Owens. Candance Owens is really the icing on top of this stupid fucking debacle. And the reason why is, one, she's she's a cis-het woman. She's cisgender and heterosexual. Okay, so she's not even like in this community. Two, she's not even an ally. She's, I mean, even in this very tweet, she's blatantly transphobic by saying, have never infringed upon the rights of women. What this is referring to is trans women in women's bathrooms or women's sports or whatever. That's what this is referring to. To these people, trans women existing somehow infringes upon the rights of cis women. And she doesn't say cis women, she just says women, because to her, trans women aren't women. So that's blatant transphobia. But yeah, she's right. Gender dysphoria has nothing to do with sexual preference. That's a personal thing. That's how you view your body or how you view yourself in a social context. However, your identity itself affects sexual preference, especially if it changes. So, very smooth-brained, bad take, and fuck Candance Owens. All right, let's read chat. That trans men are never mentioned by these fucking transphobes, right? Because she's mentioning, trans people infringing upon the rights of women. So this is referring to trans women. They never bring up trans men. Nobody cares if a trans dude goes into, the men's room. Nobody talks about that. Nobody fearmongers about that. It's always the trans women. Why? It's very hard for me to understand. It's the idea. I think it's the idea that like they're still seen as men, and men are forbidden from being, presenting as feminine. Whereas women, it's more socially acceptable. Like Candance herself wears fucking suits and blazers and shit. Like she wears kind of masculine clothing. I don't know. Maybe we could find a picture of her. Anything in this video? Okay, yeah. See, she's wearing like a fucking blazer here. That's like typically a men's suit jacket type of like this. You could expect to see a man wearing this. However, if a man wore like a professional business skirt or, and it was like the same sort of situation, it wouldn't be as acceptable. So because trans women are still seen as men, I guess it's more, they have more attention brought to them. Whereas when women act masculine, there's not as much attention brought to them. Yes, there also is a group of people saying that lesbians transitioning to trans men are trying to take away the lesbians. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rodent.